Welcome back to the Essentials Climbing Podcast. This is your host, Connor Dara, and today I sat down with guest Max Pilling to talk about V17, the grade, and we in general just ranked all the V17s. We had some fun picks in there, including Terra Nova and the roof crack that Charles Albert did. I believe it was called Le Baume des Voyageurs. We sat down, we ranked all of those climbs. I know that Le Baume des Voyageurs got downgraded, and also Terra Nova has never been V17, so that is a little bit outside of the scope, but I hope it's entertaining nonetheless. And at the end of the podcast, we briefly discuss our thoughts on V18, the grade, the concept, how kind of grades work in climbing, and so yeah, I think that's very interesting. If you haven't seen the first episode of the podcast, I interview Max, and we just talk about his life growing up, discovering climbing, and some of his favorite experiences, as well as some of my favorite experiences with him and some of our friends. So maybe when you're done with this podcast, that would be a good one to move on to. Yeah, with all that being said, let's get into it. Okay, we're recording a tier list of all the V17 and harder boulders. So that includes Exodia V18, world's first proposed V18, I guess. There are a handful of these boulders that haven't been repeated yet, and so I guess they're not confirmed at V17 or harder. That includes Exodia. What else does that include? What boulders haven't been repeated? No One Mourns the Wicked has... No, that's got repeated.
Terra Nova,
everything in the U.S. Big Slam hasn't been repeated. Backflip hasn't been repeated.
I think that's kind of about it. Will Bosey's one.
Oh, and Realm of Torment.
Yeah, Realm of Torment.
So there's a few boulders on here that haven't been repeated. We're going to just take the first Ascensionist word that it's V17 or V18 in the case of Exodia and Elias Ayanyama. So I guess here's how this is going to work. We're going to be recording a tier list. Every single boulder will play a video for that boulder, or look at images just to remind us what the boulder looks like, what it's like, so that we can rank it. And I guess we haven't talked about how we're ranking these boulders.
Probably like how good it looks, the movement, rock quality.
Yeah, so I've been to a few of these boulders. I've heard a lot of chatter about some of these boulders. So I may have some bias. I think we're going to just average our score. So if you say D and I say S, that'd be a B, yeah. Right? And we'll work it out. But yeah, generally I think rock quality, movement, how sick the line looks, mystique maybe is a good one. Like Burden, I think originally, if we made this tier list when there was only Burden, I think it's just the best one. Like you can't beat Burden. And as it's got repeated a bunch and like people have... Yeah, I've just seen it more. I feel like it's just not as good.
Are we doing based on like things that a normal classic would have? Like, are we rating on like how good the landing is? Because that's like things that you take into account, or like if it has like an obvious starting hold. Things that you would rate like a normal boulder on. Are we taking those into account?
I think partially, but we also don't have context on all of these. For example, we don't know where Exodia starts on the wall.
Yeah, that's true.
So we can't really... I also think that there's like great boulders on this list that don't necessarily have a super obvious starting hold. Like Sudan Soul is I think one of the best on the list. It doesn't have an obvious starting hold. It just starts as low as you can go on this ledge. It also doesn't start like head height, whatever. I think more relevant, and this is kind of glaring, is I think drop-offs definitely come into account with the Will Bosey's boulder. I think also something... I guess we can get into the rankings. Exodia, which is our first boulder, V18, has a double knee bar. That doesn't seem like a very bouldery, like a double knee bar rest, like no hands rest. So it seems like kind of a sport climbing thing, less of a bouldering thing. So I guess I would rank Exodia a little bit lower because of that. Like,
I guess we can go and like look at the pictures right now and see where we want Exodia.
Oh, wait. So we're gonna look at photos of Exodia. Just to remind ourselves what the boulder looks like. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's
the boulder.
That's the boulder right there.
That's the whole thing.
The rock, like the striations in the rock, look pretty cool, but it's also like
this is L though. It also
Double
looks
knee
like
bar?
he has clear tape on his knee pads.
Ooh.
It's not duct tape, it's clear. It may not be tape, I don't know what it is, but there's like some weird
Well, yeah,
glossiness.
he's taping his knee pad on so it doesn't shift at all.
Right, but why is it like packing tape? It should be like duct tape like everyone else uses.
I mean, I think the name's cool. The name is cool. The fact that it's a Yu-Gi-Oh reference, right?
I think the name's cool.
Or is it Magic the Gathering?
It's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
I think the name's cool. I also think it's slightly cringe. And it is if you didn't know what Yu-Gi-Oh was, it would not be cool at all, you know? So I think that takes away a little bit. I also think the double knee bar takes away a little bit. So let's go back to the tier list. I think
I mean, I can't tell how good the rock quality is either. If it's like, I don't know, like it kind of, is it granite or is it limestone?
I'm not sure. I have no idea what rock it is. I think we don't really know a lot about this boulder.
Yeah, it's a little hard to accurately grade.
Yeah, but I think double knee bar rest kind of takes it down. It's named Exodia, which is okay, but not great. We have a little bit of an idea. It's like steep roof climbing. And the grade breakdown is V14 into V16. It's also been a project for a long time, so I would assume the rock quality is pretty decent.
Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking maybe B?
I think B is
because I mean
fair.
it also is, if it is V18, the hardest thing. So it's like you do have to bump it up a
I think
little.
we bump it to A.
Okay.
Just because it's first V18, we can't give that thing a B,
That's-
right? It's got to be better than average, just because it's V18.
Alrighty.
Alrighty, our next boulder I already ranked it. It's right here.
Next boulder.
Next boulder is Terra Nova. Surprise! This one's actually V17, and none of you knew it yet because it hasn't been repeated. Let's watch a video of it.
Got a heinous 3-finger crimper right here.
I might turn down the volume. I don't think I've ever actually seen this full uncut video. I guess it's not uncut, but dude, it's kind of long.
Every single move looks heinous on this thing too.
What the heck? Dude, he's squeezing. As you can tell, we have both sent at least V16, so we know what we're talking about.
I also did Terra Nova too. It is V17.
It is. You confirmed. You hear it.
It's confirmed.
You heard it here first.
So the holds actually all look pretty cool.
They also don't look that terrible. There's no like quarter pad hole. This crimp is like maybe the worst hold on the climb.
Right? And then it's got this next move is
Yeah.
the next move is really cool looking.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the holds look fairly big. A lot of them are really in-cut slots, like
We know, we felt them,
the
obviously.
guppy.
The guppy.
I'm not British. I can't say that.
Well,
it's a slur in America.
I think, okay. Automatic S tier because it's Adamandra.
Wait, I want to see where he drops off, though.
I think there's like a little like sign bolted into the wall that he drops off at.
Oh, drops off at the jug.
I mean, it's got a pretty obvious end location.
Dude, I think if it's a drop-off, it's got to be tall enough to where it hurts if you drop off onto no pads. Because I think you're choosing an arbitrary place to drop off, and Adam just dropped off, and it, like, no pad. And he just...
I think the fact that it was the hardest thing in the world when it was done,
Or
and it's a shitty low-ball limestone cliff traverse, automatic S tier. Just because it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, the fact that it's like a low-ball traverse.
If we say that, then what does that mean for Realm of Torment?
Well, Realm of Torment...
It's the same
It's
shitty
different.
limestone.
It's different because this was ahead of its time. Realm of Torment is like... it's a little. If Realm of Torment was in like 2010, it would be cool.
I think the mystique around Terra Nova also brings it up because Terra Nova is like this random boulder that no one really knows about, and it gets V16 and no one's repeated it, and only Andra really knows. And also Charles Albert went there and like broke the beta somehow, and also just didn't do it. And anyway, I think it's not D. I think it would be D if it got V17 and like it was just bad, because I think it is just bad. But there's so much mystique around it. It's such a cool boulder. There's so much lore.
I think the
It
lore...
brings up to probably B for
The
me.
lore behind this is also as well the fact that Adamandra did Gaia and was like, well, I need another V16 to train for La Dura Dura. And then so he just FA'd his own one. And this was just training for him as well.
Right. Well,
so
yeah,
that's
doing
kind of...
Gaia and then being like, this thing's the same level. And it's actually, I mean, we think it's V17, you know.
Obviously.
So it's harder than Gaia.
It's got weird movement. And we're forgetting it has a crack at the end. So that brings it up at number one.
For sure. Max loves some crack, if you can't tell. What do you think rank-wise?
Well, maybe we average out ours at A. Well,
okay, you think S, I think B, so we'll average to A.
I think it's S because the irony of the fact that the world's hardest thing is a low ball traverse on a limestone cliff.
Yeah, one of them.
That's funny.
It's funny, yeah, for sure. Okay, next we have Charles Elber, L'Ombre de Voyageur. We're just going to watch.
I mean, the beta on this thing is really cool. And it's I think obviously this thing got downgraded, but we're thinking it's V17 for Charles because he's doing it barefoot with no knee pads.
Yeah, he's doing it barefoot with no knee pads, and the second Ascensionist did it with feet, or with climbing shoes rather, and he had 4 knee pads if I'm not mistaken. He had double knee pads on both knees or something like that.
That's kind of aid. That's like Sudan Soul-ish.
No, I think that's allowed.
I mean, I guess
if you're calling Sudan Soul's aid, then it's not even a boulder problem. It didn't even get a first Ascensionist. Dude, this is crazy. The knee bars, barefoot knee bars.
Yeah, the beta's sick.
He's like scraping the front of his foot, the top of his foot against a limestone. I can't imagine how painful that has to be. I think also it's worth noting that Charles topped out a sport climb and called it a boulder, and somehow Will Bosey and Adam Ondra can't even top out their V17s. Like, come on, guys. This is getting a little ridiculous.
I forgot about that. He literally just like solos after.
Yeah, and it's full on a free solo at the end, but he called it a boulder, so it's a boulder. All right. What are we thinking?
I think the fact that it's not V17 if you use actual climbing shoes brings it down quite a bit. Well,
and I think not just climbing shoes, but I think we have to keep in mind it's the full shebang. It's you've got rubber on your hands, you got rubber on your feet, you got rubber on both your knees, and I think there might have been a shin pad to do some weird like shin scum. I'm not don't fact check that or do because I don't know what I'm talking about. But there were at least 4 knee pads involved in the second ascent. And I think also the second Ascensionist said, like, hey, Charles, it's probably V18 for Charles if you do it without this stuff. But, you know, I did it with this stuff. I think also there's still a good amount of mystique. I don't remember the second Ascensionist releasing a video.
I don't think it's been repeated since then.
Yeah, I think also the fact that you need a spotter that's tied in with a harness on to do the top of the boulder, or maybe not you need, but you know that's what Charles did. I think that brings it up a bit. So I think, I mean, given that it's kind of V17, but not really, I mean, it's almost on the same level as, what's his other V17?
I know what you're talking about. It's in Fontainebleau, right?
I'm forgetting the name.
But it's not really.
But it like got
we should have put that one on the list too.
Nah, it's okay. It's okay. That one actually got downgraded like to V15 by multiple climbers.
Oh, okay.
And it's not because you can do knee bars and weird stuff with knee bar pads. I think just given that, given that it's not really V17, if anyone were to do it other than someone that does it barefoot, like I guess Sean Bailey could go out there and take his dogs out and try to climb it and then it'd be V17. But would it really, like, it seems kind of silly. And for that reason, like there's a lot of mystique. It's not very V17. I think it gets a C. I don't think
that's
it's
what I was
D,
thinking.
but I think it gets a C.
I think the reason it's not D is the fact that you got a free solo at the end, and also the beta is cool
for sure.
And Charles is cool. So
yeah, Charles is cool. It's
V17 for him though.
V17 Cave Dweller. Okay, our next boulder is Burden of Dreams that we're gonna rank. I guess I'll play the first ascent by Nale, and we'll see what's up.
Back when there was trees.
I don't think I've seen a night session on this thing since. Oh, you're going to rock climb it? Here we go. Also, I'd like to point out, it seems to me that the pads may be stacked in the front. I take that back. I don't think it is.
Oh, yeah, because wasn't there some drama about that?
Oh, yeah. There's been lots of drama. Shout out to my guy climbing in Solutions, the best shoe ever made.
Boom.
And he sends the boulder. Doesn't it glitch right here? I thought the footage was like weirdly glitchy and like kind of like, maybe.
Did he actually top it out?
Yeah, I remembered something about that. But maybe it didn't. And then he sobs. He weeps upon the ascension of his boulder.
It's a pretty cool, it's like a very pure line. It's literally just like a few really, really, really hard moves on a complete, like the fact that the wall's completely blank except those holes is pretty sick.
It's sick. And I think also it's a rare example of a V17 where it's short, it's punchy, it's never over. I've seen so many videos of people falling on the last move of that boulder.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that would make it better is if the top out was like V13 as well. So you had to do a really hard mantle.
I was gonna say, but
because it does ease up once you are both hands on the lip.
It is cool in the fact that it's not like a super long endurance problem. You know, it's like it's very a pure board boulder style.
Yes, I'd agree. I will say this as well, though. I think Burden was really, really sick because it's board style, because there's a lot of mystique. No one really knows about it. It had a lot of credibility being the first V17. And it's also, like, it's the first V17.
Yeah.
The things that take away from it, though, are, I think, it's been done either the most or the second most out of any V17. I believe followed by Return of the Sleepwalker. I may be wrong on that.
Maybe Sudan Soul.
I don't think Soudan. Maybe Soudan. Oh no, it's either it's either Alphane or Burden that have been done the most. But they're both up there.
There's no mystique about it anymore.
It's not mysterious. It's like we know exactly what the boulder looks like. I've seen a tarp on top of that boulder 20 times in videos. People are stacking pads. People are putting rocks underneath it. It snows on it. It rains on it. I've seen just about everything that I could see on Burden, so it's not really mysterious. And for that reason, I don't really think it can be... I guess there's other boulders that I would rank S tier that aren't that mysterious. I just also don't think it's that sick. Like there's cooler movement on other boulders. It's board style, it's pure, but the movement's not really that cool. It's not that fun to watch. It's just like, wow, hard move, hard move, hard move, hard move. They did the boulder, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking probably A tier. Because it's, I don't know, it is the first, well, it was the first proposed V17.
First
proposed V17, and it's still V17. It's sick, it's pure, but yeah, it's like it's not. There's not a lot of mystique, and it's not the.
And I don't think it climbs the coolest. It's not the sickest.
The boulder itself looks cool. The fact that it's completely flat, that's cool.
Yeah,
but I do agree, it's not like the sickest climb.
I think the only other thing that takes away from it is that there's replicas as well. Like when you, like I could go pay, $500, I think, maybe 700, and then maybe another 1,000 to build a 45-degree wall at my house. I could have Burden at my house.
Burden at home.
Burden at home. There's also like a bajillion kilterboard replicas of Burden. There's probably one on the tension board and on the moon board. Like, it's not, I mean, not only is it not mysterious, it's just like, it's been done, there's so much out there about Burden. It's kind of getting boring, and it's not the coolest one. And so I think I agree with you. I think I'm going to put it in A, but it's top of A. I'm going to put it above Exodia and above Terra Nova, because I think it's good. It's not the best of everything anymore.
It's definitely better than Exodia as far as which is the better first of the grade,
Yeah, I agree.
From what we know, at least.
I agree. And I think also Exodia is like, it seems to me that Exodia is a really long boulder with a big rest, and things are a little bit,
and we're boulders, so we
air.
don't like endurance.
I don't like a long boulder. I think also, like, it's V14 and V16. Adam Ondra is the best double knee bar climber, or he's the best. He's probably the best at resting double knee bars in the world. And so if Adam Ondra got on that boulder, he might climb the V14, rest for, 3 to 6 business days, chalk up, and then climb the V16 like he never even pulled off the ground for the 14. And like, maybe it's V16 at that point. Like, who knows, know? Not to say that will happen, but like, if it, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets downgraded. It's a long climb. There's a lot of nuance. Burden's never going to get downgraded at this point. Like, it's been done enough times, and it's like, you get what you get.
So that's why it's top of A tier.
For sure.
Okay, so I guess next one is Sudan Sol, right?
Next boulder we have is Sudan Sol. We just have one photo for this. It's Nico Perlosin, or Pelorson.
I think, okay, the movement's really cool.
We need to talk through some lore. So I guess the movement's cool. It's the sit start to the Big Island.
And Big Island is like super classic as well. That's
Big
the
Island is super classic. The Big Island is the low start to the Island, which is a V, I believe 13, 8B boulder that Dave Graham originally put up, which also has a really sick movement. So we've got a V13 that's amazing.
Lots of lore.
A little bit lower, we've got a V15 that's amazing. And then a little bit lower, we have a V17 that just climbs into the V15. And so I think that's fascinating. I think also it's on sandstone. It's a sandstone compression. Like, you can't really get like better climbing, in my opinion, than sandstone compression. I don't know how you feel about that, Max.
Sandstone crimps.
I think sandstone compression is better.
I do agree. I'm thinking of like some boulders in Joe's Valley. Like they're pretty fun to climb.
Yeah. I think sandstone compression is like the best climbing that you can do. And I love slopers. Slopers are maybe my favorite hold type. I think also the lore of Simon Lorenzi needing a book in his knee pad and a custom shoe to send the boulder, and then the most recent ascensionist also had a custom shoe. I don't believe he had a book in his knee pad. But it's just such a sick boulder. There's so much behind the story of it, and it's been tried for so many years. It's just been a known project.
Because Dave Graham did the Big Island as well, right?
I believe so. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know who got the first ascent of the Big Island.
But like that thing is in one of the most popular bouldering areas in the world, and it's also the low start, the proj to one of the more popular hard climbs in the world. Which is pretty cool. It is French though, so that takes it down.
So Max has some beef with the French. I don't get it. I have nothing but good times in France.
I've never been to France, so I can't say.
My experience in Font was amazing. I think having been.
Oh yeah, also I guess the fact that it's in Font is pretty cool too. Like
it's like the biggest climbing area in the world. One of the best bouldering areas. Like.
What are you thinking S tier for this one?
I think this is an S tier boulder.
I think it is too.
Okay. I think I did some convincing there. I don't think you would have said S tier if I didn't.
I was thinking A, but I had to push aside my own personal bias.
Dude, I think it's S tier. I think this is maybe one of the best V17s.
I think the fact that it's it's like a known project to an already insanely amazing popular climb.
For sure. And I think also like one thing to keep in mind is it's super skin friendly. You're not going to like split a tip or tear a big flapper. Yeah. It's slopers. On any other boulder, excluding Exodia, I don't know, you're going to have major skin issues from climbing on the boulder. I think like watching the Ondra video, Ondra was climbing on that boulder like 5-hour sessions for 5 sessions in a row, or maybe even more, maybe longer, maybe like 6 or 7 hour climbing sessions. So you can't do that on Burden. Burden, you get 5 to 10 attempts and your skin's gone. I don't know about Exodia. Terra Nova, those slots are sharp. You're not getting a lot of time. And then these hand jams and whatever. This Le Ombre de Voyageur, the roof crack, I'm very doubtful that you're going to get a lot of time on it. The way Charles did it.
Well, especially with no hand jammies.
With no hand or crack gloves, I don't think it's going to happen.
So, S tier.
S tier for Sudan Sol. Next boulder is Return of the Sleepwalker. And we've got the Daniel Woods Instagram post. Just a single photo.
It's a pretty sick boulder.
it's a sick boulder. I think there's a couple issues that we got to address.
So yeah, you've been there, so you know what the rock quality is like and stuff.
The rock is relatively soft in Red Rocks. I think there's a famous boulder called Meadowlark Lemon, and from what I've heard from people that I know that have tried it, every time that you use that hold, okay, context. Red Rocks is one of the most popular areas in the United States and in the world, really. Every boulder gets tons of traffic, and yet nothing is all that polished with the exception of a handful of boulders. Wet Dream, which is actually on the same boulder as the Sleepwalker boulder, is pretty polished. Maybe one or two others. The boulder Meadowlark Lemon that I was talking about, I've heard people say that every time you climb that boulder, you peel off a little layer of sandstone so it can never get polished because the rock is constantly degrading. Daniel Woods also said the same thing about this sloper on Sleepwalker and Return of the Sleepwalker, that in the back of the sloper, the slot has slowly been getting bigger as people try it because the sandstone is so soft that it just kind of melts away with time. And so with all of that being said, I think the boulder's cool.
It's got cool moves. The big blocky cracks are pretty cool, or like the bulbous cracks.
Yeah, the cracks are really sick. The underclings. I think it's interesting the two different methods that people have to do. I don't think Ryuichi is the only climber that has to do the short beta for Return that has actually done it. Everyone else did the tall method where you just go to the sloper off the pinch and then you bump to the slot and then you move your hand to match in. I think also Nale doing the crazy beta where he matches on the sloper before he goes to the slot is crazy for just Sleepwalker, not Return. I think also, not to expose too many people, but there's some questionable ethics going on with Return. There used to be... So the reason Sleepwalker got done from the crack system it got done in, because there was a big boulder at the base of the boulder, at the base of Return. And when Daniel Woods and Jimmy Webb and Nale did Sleepwalker, Daniel was looking for a project, and he decided to take a hammer drill and basically just chunk up the boulder below Sleepwalker so that he could try the low start. I think he knew that there was a low start, but I will just say it is highly illegal and not allowed. I have done worse, honestly. So
it's not,
I'll give him a pass.
You can't judge it. You can't judge it, but
I can't judge it. But it's.
I do think that would detract from the quality of the line a little bit. You know, just because it's like a little bit less obvious starting position, you kind of start way down in the hole a little more.
Yeah, and the start's not really in a hole. It's kind of funny that boulder, Sleepwalker has like this platform of sandstone, and then below Sleepwalker there's this gravel bed where you can tell like water has run in the past, and there was that boulder underneath. I think the thing that it detracts is it's not like you found this boulder and you just climbed it, right? It was waiting to be climbed. It's almost like it's halfway between Grand Illusion and like I don't know what's a. Like Shaolin. Shaolin was waiting to be climbed. The landing didn't need any fixing. It didn't need any work. Grand Illusion has famously been quarried. Like, that thing was not a boulder problem.
Yeah.
It was a series of tunnel digging expeditions until they got a boulder out of it. And so I think, not necessarily that it makes the boulder any worse, but I think the history behind it, the rock quality not being that great, all the things.
But you've got cool moves.
I think you do have cool moves. You have really, like, you've got a diverse set of betas, right? We talked about Ryuichi's method at the top and how he's the only one that has to do the short beta for Return. We've also got the Daniel Woods versus like the Kai Whaley beta at the bottom of the boulder for the V13 intro, where Kai does this like really heinous shoulder move, puts in a heel, and then matches and flips, where some people... Kai actually goes into an undercling and comes in, where Daniel goes into a shoulder, matches and flips. And so there's a few different beta options. I think the movement overall is cool. I've tried most of the moves on that boulder. I think I only tried the intro moves of Sleepwalker. I only tried one or two of them. Return. But I tried every move on Sleepwalker. I think, I think that boulder really should just get like something like a B. What do you think?
I was feeling similar. It's
I don't think it's A. I don't think
the reason
A.
for me is I think the shape of the rock looks really cool and the way it climbs is cool. But when you look closer at the rock itself, not like the shape, but like the texture of the rock doesn't look, it just doesn't look the most high quality.
Yeah, and I think one thing to point out is the texture of the rock is really similar to Joe's rock. It might even be finer, but it's just soft. It's really nice to climb on, but unfortunately I think it'll degrade with time. And so it's a toss-up for me between B and A. I think B.
I think B.
I think Return is a pretty average climb. Like, I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's like amazing. All right, our next climb is Alphane.
I mean,
I'll let you lead with this one. I'm not sure.
I honestly, to me, like the whole structure of the rock, to where it's like all these like striations, like left leaning, that you climb all that. I think it's pretty cool.
I think it looks really cool for sure.
It's got like, it's on you for a lot of it. It's like you have a really hard start and middle section, and then a pretty hard like going out and traversing through the crack is also hard. So it's like it's on you the whole time.
I think also there's some lore with this boulder still, because there's a direct project. And there's been some rumors that maybe it's V17.
Yeah, there's a project that goes straight up, right?
Yeah, I believe so. So I'm not entirely sure what the mystique adds. I will say there's a couple detractors. The first being, I have heard that the rock in Switzerland is generally amazing. Alphane is some of the worst rock, according to a couple people that I've heard from in all of Switzerland. The rock in that cave is like pretty chossy, pretty crumbly. And yeah, I mean, you can kind of see down here, like there's these big blocks that fell off. Like, it's not very cohesive. With that being said, like, it's granite. There's only so much that it can degrade, and it's also not like kitty littery. So I don't know.
I think. Well, I mean, there was. I don't know. I think also part of it with the way that was done when Sean Rabbit did it and then didn't tell anyone, and then people were like, "Yo, he probably did a V17." I think that kind of adds to it a little bit. You know, you got a little bit more lore to where it was. And I think if I'm recalling correctly, Dave Graham had found this project a long while, and that it's Dave Graham, so it adds a little bit to it.
The reason it's called Alphane is because it was called the Alphane Moon Project. So there's a boulder on the right side of this, or a problem on the right side of this boulder, called Alphane Moon. I believe it gets V14. It might be easier. And then there's like Alphane Moon Direct, which gets done in the Alphane film.
Yeah.
So it was called the Alphane Moon Project, and it was a known project for a long time and eventually got done. I think also the fact that it's on you for so long, like you were saying, it's like, it's a long boulder. It ends with like a V10 outro. Sean Rabbit didn't announce it for a really long time. I think it's probably at least as good as Return, if not better.
I'm thinking it's a little better. It's definitely, I think it looks cooler. It's granite, so granite's cool. It's in Switzerland. It's got like the position, and there's a little bit of mystique around it, and it looks like the movement in is really complex and cool.
Yeah. I think he goes A. Do we think above or below Terra Nova?
Well, I mean, objectively, it's probably above Terra Nova.
I agree. I think above Terra Nova.
I mean, I know I said Terra Nova was S, but it's like, it kind of is S. You know, it's S because of the meme of it.
Yes, I agree. I think also just it being a really long boulder, it fits right in there with Exodia. I think it goes below Exodia just because Exodia is proposed V18 and Alphane is proposed V17. And I think, so just to pause for a second, everything except for Exodia and Terra Nova have been repeated on this list. Not this next boulder, but the following boulder is our first that hasn't been repeated. So we'll talk about that here in a second. But next boulder is Megatron. Here's the Sean Bailey photo in the announcement.
Sean Rabbit.
Yeah, or Sean Rabbit, my bad.
This has been repeated.
This has been repeated. I was talking about backflip.
Okay.
This is our next boulder. Okay, let's talk about Megatron. Some things to consider. I didn't know this until I went to Colorado for the first time. Megatron is sandstone, which blew my mind. I thought it was like some weird quartzite or granite or something. It's sandstone. It's a sandstone boulder. I think, again, that mystique that Sean Rabitou brings to the table, he didn't announce it straight away. He actually, this is the announcement post, he said his caption is Megatron V17 video out Friday 11/18. Like, okay, like, let's go. It came out like straight away after he posted this. And, you know, the rest is history. It's an amazing boulder. Tons of people have tried it. Drew Ruana famously has had hundreds of sessions on the boulder and only done the, like, a big link once or twice that we know of, at least.
I think the fact that this boulder seems to have some really cool 3D climbing, and I think that definitely adds to it. I mean, it's a cool looking boulder going, and it's got. I mean, you got that Hamish video. That's pretty cool, going around it. But it's like, it was like a really well known project. The same thing that's like when Sean Rabitou did it, people were just like assuming he had done it for a few months, and that definitely adds to the mystique. But for me, I think the biggest thing in its favor is just like it's got really cool movements.
I also like that it's named after a dead lizard in a freezer. The Tron, which is what the, I mean, Megatron is just the low, but Megatron got named after, I don't remember his name, but this dude had a lizard in his freezer named Megatron, and he was like, you should name it Megatron.
And that's what it got named.
And it got named
But
Megatron.
it's also cool that it works that way, that it's the low start to Tron.
Yeah,
I was going to say that's
awesome.
a pretty cool name as well. Definitely is fitting, but I think from the detractor, the rock, I mean, like, not to say anything about the rock quality, but the rock itself isn't like super appealing to look at, you know?
Dude, I don't know. Let me find Hamish.
It's giving me like almost like the table rock bouldering vibes.
We gotta pause for a second. Father is here.
Oop.
Hey, bud.
Yes?
I tried calling you. Is your phone dead?
It's off. I was recording a podcast with Max.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Okay.
No worries.
You
What's
did
up?
feed the dog?
I did feed them.
Okay.
Okay, love you.
Love you.
Okay, mother wanted to know if I fed the dogs, and I did. So,
The dogs have been fed.
the dogs have been fed. Back to it. Where were we?
We were talking. You're looking at Hamish to get a better view. Because I'm saying like
Let's see.
the like weird like gneiss type rock, or it's like almost like a conglomerate of a couple different types of rock, is not normally the most appealing to me. But
Well, and it's actually sandstone. It's not gneiss.
yeah, like this style, it's not my favorite to look at.
Interesting.
But that's a personal opinion.
I think this rock looks so good to me, but I mean, maybe not. It almost looks like the basalt at Swan, where
Yeah, you're right.
it's really fine grain. It's got all these like weird discolorations.
And it's almost like porous, where it just got like
And
weird little like
porous.
dots and stuff.
For sure, and then it's got the same color.
I was gonna say I like that style when it's in like Joe's,
Interesting.
but not so much when it's at like Swan Valley or this. I mean, it's interesting. It's definitely not my favorite. You know, because like sometimes you look at big granite boulders and you're like, dude, that rock looks sick.
Yeah, that's true. I think it does detract a little bit. I also think
This move right here as well, I think is cool.
this move adds so much.
Yeah.
This is maybe the coolest move on any V17 boulder. Like, just a huge dive. And so I think just for that reason, it's like, it's up there.
That's what I was talking about.
the
It's got
best.
like cool like 3D climbing, like with the like a really like high heel hook and then lunge.
And the dive. And I think also like you're climbing around this like blunt arete, this overhanging arete. And so for the top of the boulder, I think also I've seen many videos of people dropping the move to the lip. Hamish does like his own beta for almost the entire boulder. He finds his own solution. So I think I would rank this boulder S.
I think I would go with A.
A,
So we
okay.
can go.
Where are we settling? A's getting a little heavy. I think
Yeah, maybe we'll just do a bottom of S tier.
I think bottom of S tier is fair. I think that's one of the best boulders, though. Okay,
Backflip SDS.
Backflip sit down start. We don't have a video for this one. Let's start with the obvious. Vadim Timonov gave it 8C+/9A, which is V16/V17.
It hasn't been really even tried by anyone else.
No one's really even tried it. I don't know that anyone will ever try it. It's in Russia. Like, we're not going to see a second ascent, most likely. It's almost a cliff band boulder.
It does have a really cool, like, flying toe hook. Like, from here, I believe he, like, yeets his foot up and gets a double toe hook on there. So that's pretty cool.
He does that. I think that does add a little bit of value. The movement is interesting. It's a bit of a cliff band boulder. It's maybe not V17 by the first Ascensionist admission. And I don't know. It just, the rock quality doesn't look that amazing.
No.
You got any other positives? I can't think of any right now.
I mean, the main thing was like it's got cool toe hooks in it.
It's got cool toe hooks. I think also
I'm a toe hook enjoyer, so
this is one of those boulders that feels like it has no mystique for whatever reason. It's not mysterious.
it doesn't have any mystique because it's not talked about.
No one really talks about it, but I think also like there was a video straight away.
An uncut video, yeah.
But also no one else has tried it.
Yeah.
Like Burden, the reason it was mysterious is because Nale had been trying it for years. He FA'd some of the hardest boulders in the world, including Gaioya.
No, he didn't do
he
Gaia.
didn't. But I mean,
He had done Live Large.
And he'd FA'd Kintsugi. He'd done Sleepwalker. He'd tried so many of the world's hardest boulders, and he'd been posting about this project that he had at home that he hadn't done yet.
And also, like Jimmy Webb and Daniel Woods, like famously tried it and like couldn't do anything on it.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it was heinously hard. And when Jimmy and Daniel were in town in Finland, they tried it and they didn't get very far. With this boulder, no one's tried it, other than the first Ascensionist.
Oh, is it?
It's in Russia, so no one can really try it. It's on a cliff band. Like, the top out is, like, massive. It's not really... It's barely a boulder.
It's also, as well, I think the fact that it hasn't been, like, a collaboration... That, like, not very many other strong climbers have tried this.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like just him. Which is, like, sometimes it's... You don't get as much of a consensus. That's probably... He says it's V16 or 17.
Yeah.
I think this might be one of the weaker ones on the...
I think either C or D tier. Let's look at the tier list and see where we're at.
I think we need a D.
I think we need a D tier. I think it... Is it worse than Leombre, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Leombre has really cool movement.
And Backflip is okay, but not great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spots of Time?
Spots of Time is our next boulder. Again, we just get one image. It's Aiden on the lip of Spots of Time. And honestly, I think this makes it look way cooler than the boulder actually is.
It is kind of like a weird, like, creek bed boulder.
This is a running joke in our friend group that Spots of Time is just a 45-degree face in a creek bed. And it's literally just...
Well, we'll say, oh, it's Spots of Time when we see any random rock in a creek bed.
Yeah, it's like... It looks like every other rock you see in a creek bed. It's just an overhanging face with crimps on it. And
I mean, granted, it's pretty, but it's like from this angle, it looks a lot cooler than if you were on the other angle.
I think also one thing to point out is like there's this big block that just is sitting below the landing. That like if you just were like, oh, this is on, boulder's probably like V7. All of a sudden, which bothers me because it's not like clear that this is a different boulder in all the videos. It's like. Oh, it's like right there. You could just like put your foot on that and then
a little contrived is what you're saying.
And I don't know if it's contrived. I think it'd be more contrived if you use that to start the boulder. But like, I could totally see a world where someone goes to that boulder and does another line that just uses the block. Yeah, like it's an interesting one. That being said, I think there's a lot going for it. It's one of those lines like Burden. It's got 4 or 5 moves.
Really small bad
crimps,
holds.
Like pure hard boulder. And the two people that have sent it used different solutions, right? Aiden used a different method than Will.
But they both thought it was 17, which is cool.
They agreed on 17, yeah. And I think, so it's not the worst of the worst. It is a little bit lowball dabby. It looks like a ton of other granite rocks in creek beds. It's got a view, though, you know. You've got a nice little lake behind you. And
I mean, it's British, though, so, like...
It's British.
Brings it down. Actually, and British climbers are pretty cool, though, so maybe it brings it up a tier.
I think, let's look at the tier list and see where we're at. I was
thinking C. I think
Yeah.
I think it's on par with the
I don't
Le
know.
Hombres.
I think honestly, it's worse than Sleepwalker Return, but not by that much, you know? Like, I think it's probably a little bit better than this guy. Do you think
Yeah.
top of C or bottom of B?
I think top of C.
Top of
Just
C.
because, like, if we're memeing on it, you know, it can't
Yeah,
be.
that's true. We meme on it too much.
Shaolin.
All right, next boulder. Yeah. Shaolin V17. Another boulder I've tried. I pulled up the Noah Wheeler photos for this one. I like how coherent this slideshow of photos is. Send photo wearing a shirt. Send top out wearing a shirt. Attempt not wearing a shirt. Yeah, I think the movement's cool. Unfortunately, the top out was at one point extremely sandy, and I believe it is still a bit sandy. In the first ascent video by Sean Bailey, it's like very clear that it's raining sand when he's trying to top it out. Needed thoroughly cleaned.
And that's what we talked about. It's Red Rock.
Yeah, it's red rocks. You know, the rock is not the best out there. I think the Trieste boulder, Trieste is just to the left of Shaolin on this boulder. Trieste boulder has decent rock quality compared to the rest, but it's not amazing. I think also one thing that takes away from bouldering in red rocks is when I have been there, like you climb and it starts to get dark and you think that you're in nature, and then it gets completely dark and you look up in the sky. There's just like this bulb of bright light coming from
You're
Vegas.
like, oh, I'm
It's
right outside
awful.
of Vegas.
Yeah, and so I think anything in Red Rocks is going to be just lose a little bit of value there, just because it's like.
But that being said, it's got a really, really cool jump move on it. So
It does have a cool jump move. I found it interesting. I tried that jump move. It's not that hard to establish in the position to jump. It's maybe like V5, V4 to just establish to jump. Probably V5. But the hold is so slotted to hit the hold correctly, to get enough distance, one, but then to hit the hold correctly, it's like a slot. And then in the back, it like curves back. So you have to time it perfectly to latch the hold and take the swing. And it's kind of hard to full crimp that hold. You kind of want to half it, like open half. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's maybe it's a bit of a traverse at the start, and it feels a little bit low ball. Like you're starting on the most obvious place on the boulder, which is like better than Trieste, because Trieste the original started like kind of high, and they went down to the jug that Shaolin starts on. That being said, for objectively grading a boulder, you know, the least contrived version of the boulder would be you start on the easy or on the obvious place and you go up, and that's Trieste, you know?
Yeah.
And I think there might even be a V12 that starts there now. And so, given that there's multiple other lines that start where Shaolin starts, that takes away some
a lot
value.
of these other lines are like singular and obvious lines. You know, it's like even the Big Island is just a low start, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a little less.
I mean, you look
a
at
little more
almost
pure of a
you look
line.
at any of these, Megatron, singular.
Maybe not Terra Nova.
Terra Nova is not. Oh,
No, wait, no.
Max is downgrading Terra Nova. You look at Sudane Soul, Megatron. You look at Burden, Alphane. Alphane is debatable because there's maybe another.
Because there
exit.
could be, but I feel like that when you look at it, you see the cracks going out left, and like,
Yeah,
that's
it
obvious.
makes sense. Return is singular. Arrival of the Birds is singular. Like all of the other boulders that we've ranked so far are singular, and Shaolin just isn't that. And so for that reason, I think I'd probably rank Shaolin a B, in there with Return.
That's what I was thinking. It just suffers from some of the same things that Sleepwalker was.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a bad boulder. I think the movement's really good. I think with time that boulder will probably become easier because and maybe not, but where you grab that slotted hold for the first jump, the slot might just get a little bit bigger and it might become a little bit easier. So B.
So now next one is Arrival of the Birds.
Arrival of the Birds. We're gonna watch the Sean Bailey video. We'll unmute this.
I think this one has the most mystique.
I think partially, but also Aiden Roberts has yapped about it a lot on
Oh, has he? I haven't listened to his
podcast. Yeah, on Careless Talk. Yeah, so I guess this is Sean Bailey trying the boulder. he does slightly different beta than Aiden, apparently. He does this jump, and Aiden... So where Sean's left hand is right now, I believe Aiden does like 4 or 5 moves off that. Sean obviously does this jump to a slot. But yeah, it's I find it interesting that Sean's beta is so different. I also find it interesting that his video that he posted for this looks like it was inside, his phone was inside of a microwave. Like, just absolutely cooked footage. Looks like the top hat was the crux for Sean. He was grunting a little bit there. All right, so that's that. He tops out the boulder, whatever. How do we rank this? So there's a couple issues with the Arrival of the Birds. I think it's beautiful. It's
also in a style. This is the only one that's like kind of vertical. It's like, it's not quite vert. It's a little overhung, but it's it's like a more techie style, which I think is pretty cool.
It's not like most of the rest of the boulders that are like either roofs or like 50 degrees overhang, 45 degrees overhang, or steeper. So I find that interesting. I think one of the glaring issues with it, though, is that start holds aren't really defined. Aiden Roberts started on this conglomerate of holds where there's a bunch of different holds like together that just kind of,
The rock color doesn't look clear. Like the best.
Well, and I think also Sean Bailey and Aiden Roberts technically start on different holds. It's not the same hold. And while there was a conversation between Aiden and Sean about, is it okay to start here? Is this not the same boulder? Whatever. I think the reality is the boulder's objectively worse if you have to ask those questions. I think if it's really obvious, the boulder's good. And if it's not, then maybe we have some issues. And so for that reason, I think like that the boulder can't be up there with Sudan Soul and Megatron. And I think honestly it probably ranks a bit below A tier for me.
I'm thinking somewhere in the B tier, just because it's like, it is cool that it's like in a completely different style.
I agree.
But I agree that it's like, if it's got weird start holds that like you don't know quite where to start, and the rock does, like, it looks okay, but like the little conglomerate style is not normally my favorite.
I agree. I also think that this boulder is very likely to see another ascent in the near future, probably from Brooke Rapitu. Brooke Rapitu has tried it a good bit, from what I've heard. With Aiden, she was doing fairly well on it. It seems like there's a lot of information if you want to find it on that boulder. There's just not a good video.
Yeah.
And so, like, while there is some mystique, it's maybe not the most mysterious. And I think it goes in probably top of B, above Return, but probably below.
I like that.
Things like Terra Nova. Especially that start hold issue is a big one for me. Alrighty, our next boulder. Let's watch this video.
No one mourns the wicked.
No one mourns the wicked.
The first move in Defying Gravity. In the back of my mind, I was like, what if I kept trying to move today and tomorrow and the next day? Would I continue to make progress, or is this move just truly like you get it dialed and then you can only do it once in 10 tries? So I just wanted to finish that thought and kind of know what the true mastery of the move could feel like.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I mean, it's got arguably one of the hardest moves in the world.
Yes, so I have so much information about this boulder. I have a close friend who's been trying the stand start a bit, Bridger, and he's given me a little bit of info. Couple things. One, Beckett, the kid that has sent his age at every age up to V16. So he's 16 right now. He's climbed V16. He's going to turn 17 someday, and he's going to want to climb V17 for his 17th birthday. Beckett has been on that boulder, and I believe Beckett's really short. Beckett's like 5'1", 5 foot, something like that. Maybe I'm understating his height, but he's short enough to do beta that no one else does. and he actually finds that the first move is significantly easier on defying gravity than the second move, which is unfortunate because it's not universally the really hard move. Yeah.
That is interesting because that's normally seen as one of the hardest moves.
Yeah, it's like hardest move in the world, except for if you're 5'1", or if you're, whatever. Like, I'm sure I have some kids on the team that like would find that move easier than me because they can do this new method, right? I believe what Beckett does is he just starts matched really far left on the starting hold, and then he puts his right heel on where some people put their right hand for the starting position. And a few people have tried that, from what I've heard, and it just feels way too scrunched.
Yeah.
If you're anywhere like 5'4", 5'5", 5'6", and above. But for Beckett, it works. And so I think that's interesting. I think also one thing that I've heard rumors, I'm not going to say from who or who said this or who told me this, but I've heard that some people trying the low start to defying gravity at the moment think that it may not be V17. And they've said it's by far the easiest V17 they've tried.
I mean, it also got done in one session.
Someone did it in one session. And I think Hamish was hesitant to comment on the grade because it's his style, and
it's also when you
maybe it's not fair.
Do something quickly, sometimes it's hard to figure it out, because it's like well, was I just climbing really well? But also, I mean, it's got some really, really cool moves, especially that first move is just pretty sick. But it's also kind of like a little bit of a cliff band boulder as well.
It's a bit of a cliff band boulder, but it's not.
I mean, you top
heinous.
It out though.
Yeah, you do top it out, and it's not heinous cliff band. It kind of bulges over, and you stand on top of the whole thing. And there's a clear top. Like you're on top of the boulder. I think one other thing to keep in mind that I didn't realize, apparently the low start, it starts low, and you climb into defying gravity, and every move except for the move to the start hold and the match is basically it's basically a non-move. They're like V3 to V5 moves. They're not actually that hard, and then you get into this like 2-move V13 at the end to get established on the start hold.
So it's basically V13 into 15.
From what I've heard, it's V13 into 15, but it's really like V4 into V13 into V15. Like it starts low, and like I guess you add moves, but really all you do is you're just
it's almost like a case that the V15 is more obvious than the lower start. And it's a case of like, is it better to start on the obvious holds or as low as you can go?
Yeah.
And a lot of times the climb is a little better when you start on an obvious place,
I agree.
even if it's not harder.
I think the defying gravity start is more obvious than the known ones that we could start. That being said, I haven't been to the boulder, but I think that's fair. So I guess with all that being said, I think this boulder still for me ranks above Return of the Sleepwalker. I think it ranks above Arrival of the Birds.
But
I could maybe see it in A, but I think it's really high B for me.
B plus.
B plus, yeah.
I was thinking B is what I was originally thinking. So yeah, maybe we'll put it in B plus. All right, and then
alrighty.
Next
boulder.
Big Slam.
The Big Slam. Elias Ayanyama. We'll just scroll through these photos.
It's definitely a cool looking climb.
It's an interesting
sandstone as well.
It's sandstone. So I think sandstone automatically bumps my feeling about a boulder. With that being said, it almost looks as if it's dug out of a hillside, which definitely detracts.
It's not like a standalone boulder. It's like you could just go that way and grab some dirt and get out. Well, maybe not because the holes are really bad, but
yeah, it just looks like it's dug out. It climbs in a ret, which I think is cool. It's an obvious feature. And it tops out almost on the slab, which is interesting. With all of those things being said, it looks surprisingly crimpy as well, right? Like, a lot of these holds Elias is slapping to this thing. You see in the next frame that he's actually crimping that hold, right? So it does seem like a sloper boulder, but right, you're crimping lots of holds, doing big moves, foot cuts.
The rock quality also looks really nice. Like it's nice and uniform throughout. And like the wavy texture of it is like it's giving almost like Joe's Valley vibes, where there's a lot of like little tiny features that aren't holds, but they just kind of make the boulder look cooler.
Right. Well, and I think also that's part of what makes this boulder possible, right? All these little tiny features that are all over the rock that just barely make it possible. I almost wonder, though, is the boulder going to break? There's this big crack through the boulder. And maybe not. Maybe it's pretty solid. But yeah, I find this one interesting. There's a lot of mystique around this boulder. I believe that we got a send video, and I think I saw it, but it's been a while. I think also one thing that's important to keep in mind is we don't know for sure that this is V17. It hasn't been repeated, and
there's also the conditions debate around it, right?
What is that?
Well, he was saying that so this area, it basically doesn't get the ideal conditions. So it's grade V17, but maybe if it was in the middle of the desert somewhere and it was less humid,
Interesting.
It could be easier, but it's almost like he's saying it's impossible to get conditions. So this is graded to the best conditions that is possible in this area. But I think that does kind of detract a little bit from it because...
Yeah, I mean, I think that's entirely irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
Because you could get one miracle day and someone's going to call it V16, and that's what it is. It's just...
Yeah.
It can't be V7. You can't take V17 because he did a boulder in bad conditions.
And he's not saying that he just was doing it in bad conditions. He's saying, like, the bad conditions don't come, which, given enough time, they will come. You know, maybe eventually.
I think also, like, if you made that argument for Burden, the entire area got deforested, and now it's not humid there anymore, right? Like, there are definitely circumstances in which the good conditions would come, you know?
Yeah.
And with that being said, like, that's like saying, like, everything in Squamish should get an extra grade because it's usually humid there.
Yeah.
But there are random days where it's not that humid, and there's days where it's not raining, and it's very possible to climb really hard. Well, I mean, there's V16 in Squamish, right?
Yeah.
And it's not V16 when it's
humid. It's humid, yeah.
It's V16 when you can do it, right? And so it's hard to get good conditions on this boulder. That maybe takes away a little bit. I think also Elias had the drama or the controversy where he stacked pads for the start of Burden, and so his only context on the grade V17 is it's harder than the V16 he's done, and also it feels close to Burden. He did it in a similar number of sessions, but because he started stacked on pads, the first move was significantly easier of Burden doing that way. Maybe
it's not V17?
Yeah, maybe it's not V17. Like, who knows, right? And again, it just needs to be repeated to have more of an understanding.
I think that definitely, like, kind of the grade aspect detracts a little bit from it, and also the fact that it's kind of dug out. But other than that, the rest of it, like the rock quality, the movement looks cool. Like if this wasn't like on a hillside, if it was just a standalone boulder, that'd be so much sicker.
Yeah, I agree. I think I can't tell if it's dug out or not, but it does seem to me that
it's in the hill. It's in a hillside.
It's in a hill. It kind of seems a little bit dingy. It's in a cool forest though. Where are we thinking we're gonna rank this guy?
Maybe bottom of A.
Bottom of A.
Because I think looking at just the boulder itself,
it's pretty sick.
It looks cooler than No One Mourns the Wicked, but it's like when you look at it, like when you look at the actual holds and the texture rock, it looks sick. Yeah. And then you zoom out a little more and it looks a little less cool, you know? So
I think I agree with you. We'll put it in bottom of A. You think above or below Terra Nova?
Well, in my opinion, everything's below Terra Nova, but we'll put it below.
Okay, we'll put it below Terra Nova. I would agree. I think Terra Nova is an interesting one. We'll keep Big Slam below Terra Nova. Our next boulder problem is Mount Doom, Nikolai Uznik. These photos are quite dark. I might actually find the Jakob post.
This boulder's sick. I was going to say, it just looks really cool. And I think it just has some like really cool looking moves. The striations in the rock look super sick.
Let's see here. I believe
right down there.
Is it this one? Yeah.
It's kind of like a big wall.
Side note, does it look like Jakob slapped himself in the face here? His entire face looks like it's covered in chalk. Oh, whoa, I didn't realize it topped out kind of on the right side of the boulder. Maybe I did.
I think the fact that it just goes through, like, it's like with the chalk on it. I mean, it's probably not obvious when you're looking at it, but with chalk on it, it's like, it's sick.
It does almost seem like a sport climb, dude. It's like you start all the way down here and you just wander all the way to the top.
It reminds me of like it's like a cooler Althane, honestly, and to the right.
And I also think these striations through the rock remind me of something like Golden Face.
Yeah, I was thinking
it's very classic Swiss rock. It looks really high quality. I did hear actually, I think it's in this post, Janja Garnbret decided the boulder wasn't hard enough, and she broke a keyhole, leaving a really sharp crimp instead. And so I think that detracts a little bit. You know, it originally got first ascented at V17 with this set of holds, and then a hold breaks. You know, it maybe shows that the rock isn't as good as we thought. The line isn't as permanent as we thought. Right, it's already starting to degrade.
I think what I like when I see is like, yeah, it's similar to that Golden Face, to where it's got like the really cool striations in it.
For sure.
And it looks like you're climbing through those striations, and yeah, like you can see here, it's kind of obvious, like, oh, you need to be going to the right. And another thing is that I find is cool is that transition, like when they get into the stand start and they go like from here into that.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty sick. Like the really high shoulder move.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a sick boulder. I'm glad it saw a second ascent. I would expect that we see many more ascents in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if Janja does it. Aiden Roberts sounded like he was relatively close as well.
I think the fact that it tops off to the right a little bit doesn't really detract, at least for me.
Yeah, I guess I didn't put this together in my head, but I've seen the video of Nikolai doing it, so I don't know why. I think also, I wouldn't be surprised if we see someone like Andra do this boulder. It seems like a long boulder. It seems like
obviously
style.
Jakob did it, and Jakob's more of a sport climber.
Jakob's more of a sport climber. Yeah, I think I think this is a really good boulder. I think it's up there with the best. Where would I rank this one? I think this goes an S, honestly.
I think bottom. Oh, I think middle of S. I think it's better than Megatron.
You think it's better?
It looks cool. Okay, it just looks cooler than Megatron.
Interesting. I honestly would rank this below Megatron, but I'll give it to you. I think above Megatron, but below Sudang.
Or equal with Megatron. We'll even it out.
Sure.
All right, final
boulder.
Realms of Torment.
Realm of Torment.
I mean, it's a.
This, I think, may be the best boulder on the list.
I think, I mean, if Terra Nova is A tier, this is S tier. Shitty limestone low ball drop off? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how low ball it is. You know, it could be a high ball. You could climb 25 feet up. I haven't watched the video because I was so uninterested. I find it interesting that, you know, this is the only confirmed V17, or I guess not confirmed, but only proposed V17 that is a drop off. So I think that obviously detracts a lot.
Yeah,
it's not a sport climbing crag, so it's not like
sport climbing's gross, so that detracts from it.
But I think also Will Bosey made the decision to not clip in. You know, he said, "I'm not doing a real thing right now. I'm just playing around and trying the beginning of my sport climb." You know, it's not even real. I think Realm of Torment doesn't actually exist. Because
do the British and Scottish even exist? Does the UK even exist?
No, but I think like Will Bosey could have just said, "Hey, there's a bolt right here. I'm going to clip it and keep climbing," but he didn't. Yeah. Instead, he said, "I'm going to drop off because I'm not doing anything real right now. This is fake." But all things, like being a little bit more serious, I think. It's just a bad boulder. It's like...
It looks gross.
It looks gross. It's on what appears to be sharp limestone.
Limestone bouldering is just not it.
Yeah, it just doesn't look that good. Yeah, and I guess I don't feel like I really need to say anything else. I think I'm going to put it straight into the bin where it belongs, and it's going in D tier.
Still impressive that he did that, but...
Good job.
Good job.
Definitely the worst boulder on the list. And with all of that being said, I think that's our tier list.
Yeah, I think I can get behind that. So we got Megatron, Mount Doom, and Sudan Soul rounding out the top.
Yeah, and then Backflip and Realm of Torment are the very bottom. We threw you guys a couple curveballs as well. Obviously, we got the V18 Boulder Problem, Exodia in there, which I think we should talk a little bit about after we round out this tier list. But we've also got Terra Nova, which is a limestone drop-off in A tier, and also not confirmed V17, so it's V16. But we know, guys, just trust us, it's V17. We've also got Les Ombres de Voyageur, which is another limestone rock climb. I would argue a free solo, not
a boulder.
But regardless, Charles proposed V17 for it. It got downgraded to V14 with rubber. Maybe it's
Cool climb, but you know.
But yeah, probably not V17.
You got the B tiers where it seems like the American ones sit at.
Yeah, we've got one Swizzy. Arrival of the Birds gets B, and I could not see myself trying Arrival of the Birds. I think a lot of these boulders I could totally see myself trying. Megatron I could see myself trying. Sudane and
Mount Doom
I could totally see myself trying. I think every single one of these boulders I could totally see myself trying, except for things B tier and below. And really it's just, and maybe excluding Terra Nova. Terra Nova doesn't seem too good. But Arrival just is not there. It's not on par with all of these other boulders. These boulders are like world-class amazing, and then we get to Arrival and it's like conglomerate of holds, tiny slots, kind of gross.
Polished as well.
Supposedly polished. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's all that good. So yeah, let us know what you think about our tier list in the comments. And I think we're going to have a brief discussion about what we think about V18 being proposed, where we see climbing going in the near future. And yeah, let's get into that.
I mean, I don't see why V18 isn't possible, you know, like looking at this amount of V17s, it's like, yeah, it's not necessarily about time for a V18 because that's kind of weird to look at it that way, but it makes sense that someone could do a V18 if this many people are doing V17.
So yeah, I guess I'll start. I have a few points to make. The first of which is if we think about bouldering, I would argue that the progression, while it is linear, right? So
like what, every 8 years?
So I've heard this argument that bouldering progression is linear in the same sense that running a mile is linear. It's gonna get continually harder to push the next range of difficulty for a linear objective. So let's say you're running a mile. Running 20 minutes is not that hard. Going from 20 minutes to 19 minutes is not hard. Once you get down to 10 minutes, going from 10 minutes to 9 minutes is getting a little bit harder than going from 20 to 19.
Yeah. But going from 5 to 4.
From 5 to 4.
Well, that'd be exponential.
It's extremely hard.
Yeah.
Well, but if you look at the actual objective, the objective is to go from a linear amount of distance, right? You're going from 5 minutes to 4 minutes in the same way that you're going from 20 minutes to 19 minutes, right? So it continually gets harder. So the difficulty increases exponentially, but the objective
I see what you mean.
is linear.
I see.
And I would say bouldering is similar, where we actually have a linear objective. We have V0, V1, V2, V3, V4, and our grade scale is fairly linear. But when we think about how our progression works, the difficulty is exponential, right? And so we would expect to see that exponential curve come in when we think about progressing grades, right? It took many years for Usain Bolt to come along and break the record. And then take many years after that for someone else to break that record. And I believe it just got broken very recently. It wasn't mile time or 100 meter. In any case, I think we would expect the human us to get closer to the human limit of bouldering
for it to take longer,
and it would probably take longer. And when I go back and compare it to the time between our first V15 and our first V16 being FA'd, it was about eight years. First V16 and V17, it was around 8 years again. It may have been 9. The time between the first V17 and the first V18 is the same amount of time. And so I think we run into this problem where we maybe haven't established super well what V17 is, you know? I think to really understand what V17 is, you would maybe have to do more than just one V17.
Before you know what a V18 is.
And Elias did do more than one V17, but one of them was a proposed V17, and it wasn't confirmed. I think there's maybe some debate whether or not he truly did Burden of Dreams, because he started on a stacks pad, and we know that makes the first move easier. Having heard from other people, your fingers are less fatigued. You have to try a little bit less hard, and so it's questionable whether or not he did what Nale did when he proposed V17, and whether that is benchmark V17 burden. And so, with that being said, like, he proposed his own V17, and it's even questionable whether or not that would be V17. He really hasn't toured the grades and come to an understanding of what that grade is before proposing V18.
I think the good thing, though, is that this is the V18. It's not one of 13 or 14 V17s, so it's probably going to get trafficked a little bit more, and then eventually, you know, those really strong climbers are going to be able to come to a consensus, that's really, you know, most grades are consensus, and, you know, it eventually evens out, and hopefully the first ascensionist got it right. But
yeah, and I think this is my second point. There aren't any V18s in the world because there's no consensus, and grades are a consensus, right? Yeah. We agree that this is harder than that, and therefore it deserves this grade. We can suggest grades, but that doesn't make it V18, right?
Yeah.
The only thing that would make Exodia V18 is when multiple people come together who have climbed on the boulder or sent the boulder and agree that this feels harder than that. This is why things like I'm struggling to the game is a great example. Yeah. The game isn't V16. The game got F8 at V16 by Daniel Woods. He suggested the grade, and then it got downgraded by Carlo Traversi, right? Jade V14. It was proposed at V15. It doesn't mean that boulder is V15. It's not an inherent quality of the boulder. It later got downgraded to V14. Kintsugi. That boulder got done by multiple people.
Yeah.
Numerous people. I over 5, I believe. Maybe less. And every single one of them proposed the grade V15. That boulder is now consensus V14. So grades change, and the only thing that really confirms a grade is consensus, right? When multiple people talk and agree on a grade, and they're honest. With that being said, I think that I'm glad Elias proposed V18.
Yeah.
He truly believes that it's harder than anything else he's tried.
And I think people should take him for his word. You know, he probably feels like it was harder than anything he's done. You know, it would be very doubtful that he'd be lying about that.
And I guess just let me make this clear. I'm not saying when I say there is no such thing as V18 that Elias doesn't believe that this boulder is harder than Burden of Dreams and then the Big Slam and harder than V17 in general. All I am saying is that grades are a reflection of consensus, and there is no such consensus on Exodia, so we cannot have confidence in the grade, right? It is simply a suggestion. It's nothing more.
Yeah, it's probably something that's like, we'll need to wait a few years, and then we'll get that consensus.
And then I think we can stick a grade to it, and know a little bit more confidently. I think also one thing that's interesting is grades are entirely different for different people depending on the boulder sometimes. We look at boulder we talked about a little bit earlier, like Sleepwalker. A lot of people take V15 for that boulder. I think partially because the sloper has gotten and the crimp has gotten a little bit better with time because that sandstone's weak.
It's also a height or a wingspan issue as well.
Right. There's people now that have done the crux move on Sleepwalker without using the pinch, without using any intermediate, without even like bumping out of the underclings. They just go straight there.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good point. That's something to consider and take in, that like beta is different. Like grades are kind of this arbitrary thing, and I don't think that we could ever really know how hard something feels to someone else, right? Like I think every 6 foot tall climber ever may experience a different level of difficulty than some 5'6" climber on every climb they ever get on. And I mean, maybe that's objectively true, not even just like maybe, but Like,
Well, it's just
I
gonna be
experience a
different.
different level of difficulty on every boulder than you do.
Yeah.
Relative to other boulders, maybe that feels similar, but relative to how much I physically exert myself, it may be entirely different. And we have no way of knowing that. And so to build a consensus, we're basically just saying this feels harder than that for me.
Yeah.
But there's really not any intrinsic value to those things.
With that being said, I hope it's V18 because that's pretty cool.
I agree. I think it'd be really sick. I was talking to Foltz briefly, Matt Foltz, and I mentioned, hey, did you see the news today? And he was like, oh yeah, V18 got proposed, and his wife came out. I think she was in the bathroom, and Foltz was like, did I tell you that the first V18 got proposed, or maybe it was something along those lines. And she was like, where is it? He said, Italy. And she was like, let's go to Italy. Like, so there's some interest. I think some people want to try it. I'm not sure that Foltz would try it this season, but people are
We all
intrigued.
want to see Adam Ondra on it.
I think it's also not unlikely that Andra gets on it because he's living in Italy for the winter.
Yeah.
So I think I'd be really psyched to see Andra on it. Consensus makes grades. Proposing a grade doesn't make a grade, right? And I think really the only way we can know is when multiple people are honest about their opinion of the difficulty, then we can start to form an idea of how hard a boulder is. Yeah. I think that's a good place to wrap up the V18 discussion. Did we have any other things that we wanted to talk about?
Terra Nova's actually the best quality boulder, period.
I think Terra Nova is an interesting case. I think the fact that Charles Albert skipped like the whole crux by doing like some weird
I didn't know he did that.
he did some like weird cross that he like got to an undercling and just like crossed all the way to that like meat hook hold that.
To me, I just think it's funny that it may very well have been the first V17, and instead of this like striking pure boulder, it's like a low ball shitty chassis traverse.
Yeah, it doesn't look that good.
Really heinous movement. And I think it's funny to me because it's like the antithesis of what most boulders want.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
Other than a sport climb, it's about as bad as it can get. I will say though, there are some really good drop offs. I don't think Terra Nova is one of them.
Other than a sport climb, it's as bad as it can get.
Yeah. That's how I feel. Sport climbing is terrible.
Well, what are some other good drop offs?
I think Golden Face is a good example in Riggins.
Yeah, but okay.
I think like a lot of people regard that as a really, really sick climb, and it's a drop off.
Well, just because the rock is like the coolest rock you've ever seen.
I think also one thing to keep in mind with that boulder is that it is a boulder. You know.
Yeah. Well, it also could be done to the top. It just looks it's scary.
It's scary, and I think it's really hard. I think another good example would be Blood Meridian or Social Distortion. In Bishop, it's a V12/13. It's the first half of the process. I think that's another great example of...
Or Evolution to the Lip on that same boulder. What do you think? Is that...
Yeah. I think Blood Meridian is maybe a better drop-off. But in any case, I think we have examples of good drop-offs. It's not the fact that it's a drop-off that makes the boulder like a boulder bad, like Realm of Torment, for example. I think there's so many detracting factors on a boulder like Realm of Torment that it can't be that good.
I think it's more the fact that it's on like a limestone cliff band, and obviously on a cliff band, not everyone's gonna Charles Albert and just free solo the top out, you know?
And who knows how hard the top out is as well. But I think also like the good drop-offs that I can think of, they're boulders, you know? They're
just
cliffs.
Really tall or dangerous boulders, you know?
I think also I think Badger Cove is like a single pitch sport climbing area. And so like if you were to keep climbing, there's no getting down.
Yeah.
Like you can't keep climbing if you wanted to. The Charles Albert thing or Grandpa Peabody, anything on Grandpa Peabody, like you could keep climbing if it goes, you know, and you could get to the top of this thing, which is kind of the goal. And I guess that's why sport climbing seems kind of silly and contrived to me, is because quite often the goal isn't to get to the top.
It's get to the chains.
It's to get to the chains, which someone arbitrarily drilled holes and put there, you know, like it's not as objective. You're not climbing what nature made. You're climbing someone else's vision.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to wrap. Good podcast, Max.
I think moral of the story is just don't sport climb.
Moral of the story, don't sport climb, and
And,
also
and if you are going to boulder, and if you boulder, don't boulder at sport climbing crags.
yeah, or just link your boulder problem into a sport climb and call it a hard grade because that's better than nothing.
Why are we? Rip Will Bosey's getting trashed on.
Well, I think a great example of this too. There's
Actually, no. The fact that Will Bosey is putting that much effort into something so shit is actually cool in itself. It's a meme to put all your effort into something that's just like not that. At least the movement and the difficulty is cool. That's about it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't even move. The difficulty is
the
cool.
difficulty is cool. I think also another example. What's the sport climbing cave in Logan called?
China Wall.
China Cave.
China Cave. Yeah.
There are a bunch of boulders in China Cave. That I say boulders. There's a bunch of boulder problems at the base of China Cave. There's one V11 that could potentially get linked into like a 514B, and it would make it 514 plus. Actually, it might be able to be linked into a 14D. So it'd be it'd be 15A.
Yeah.
I think the boulder is stupid, but if you climb 515 because you link the boulder into the other thing,
Like that's less
cool.
stupid than the
I also think it's funny because in my head, sport climbing was always just like pull off the ground and climb. There's no start holds. And then some of the hardest sport climbs in the world, you have to like start in a dingy little cave and climb 30 or 40 feet of bouldering with pads, and then you get into a double knee bar and someone clips a rope onto you and you keep climbing. Like, guys,
I think that's the purest form of climbing that we can get. I think that's what we should strive for.
Climbing 40 feet of bouldering, get into a double knee bar rest, and then have someone clip a chain onto you and you can, or a rope onto you and you can keep climbing.
Yeah, I think that's peak.
It's so funny to me. There's some boulders in Colorado like that were drop-offs, and then someone went, you could totally sport climb after the boulder, and you climb like V14 into like 511, and it's like, wow.
And then suddenly it's a mid 514.
Yeah, it's like, wow, I did this V14 drop-off, but if I add like 30 moves of 511...
And I hope you can climb 511 if you're climbing 514.
Dude, I think there's some of those that people have fully fallen on at the end. Just crazy. Okay, well, thank you for listening to Essentials Climbing. We will be back eventually with another podcast. I'm trying to get Logan on the show.
We'll need to be back when AJ's in town too.
We'll record a couple episodes with AJ. Good chat, and we'll see you guys soon. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you made it this far, by the way. All right,
Bye.
Peace. Thank you for watching this episode of the Essentials Climbing Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel. I put a lot of work and time and effort into making this dream a reality, becoming a full-time podcast host. And honestly, the biggest thing that you can do to help me is subscribe. Also, if you enjoyed this episode, check out this one. It should be right here. Thank you. Bye.